Today we're going to be going over some of the best compliment pulling summer fragrances that you can buy for this year moving into the end of summer, and a lot of these will work into fall as well. Primarily, of course, we're going summer focused here. Obviously that would make the most sense. Bright, fresh, uplifting fragrances that work really well in heat, but also can work really well in some kind of cooler temperatures as well for those days when you might have a cloudy, kind of gloomy summer day, or even the evenings as well. So nice little variety here. We've got a couple that are more expensive, a couple that are really, really affordable, and just a nice little mixture of everything. We'll start off with something on the more affordable end. It is Davidoff Cool Water Parfum. You know, they have quite a few to choose from at this point, a lot of which over the years have been discontinued. And so as far as what I guess is currently available, that number is shrinking as they're continuing to add to the cool water line in terms of new flankers. They're just subtracting some of the old ones that don't get talked about as much. You know, you've got this Cool Water Wave, Cool Water Grapefruit and Sage was a really good one. Just the regular Odaparfam, of course the Eau de Toilette. But besides from those, maybe Reborn and stuff, you know, you don't really have a whole lot else. A lot of their older ones, again, have been discontinued. To me, though, Cool Water Parfum is one of the best that you can currently get right now. This one has lemon, vetiver, pink pepper, so it's bright and uplifting off the opening with a nice, mature, classy, woody dry down coming from that vetiver. Kind of a relatively mild, soapy, clean vetiver, just to give it a more traditionally masculine smell. So this doesn't go in the sweet direction like a lot of newer men's fragrances do. It goes kind of the opposite way, or the more traditional way, just kind of citrusy, woody, and a bit aromatic. I think you're typically looking at around $40 or so for this, and it is a 100 ml bottle. Some of the cool waters come in a 125, and they have a smaller size, but this one is 100 ml. Again, around $40, very reasonable. The next size would be a 50 ml, which just doesn't really work out as far as price per milliliter is concerned a lot of the time. So I would definitely shoot for a 100 ml bottle. If you can find one, I'll link everything down below. Definitely recommend this one for summer, spring, even fall and winter, it could work as well. So we'll go for something a bit more expensive up next, although it's not as expensive as what a lot of niche is today. And again, we're talking discounted prices here. Is Creed Aventus Cologne. You know, Creed Aventus has been cloned to death. I mean, there are so many, and I mean, new Aventus clones are still being released and created. But the Cologne version is one that is, I don't know, a little bit more under the radar, so to speak. I mean, everybody knows about it, but nobody really talks about it all that often. And there aren't really too many clones of this, at least not that I can think of off the top of my head. I know they're out there, but it doesn't have the popularity that the original Aventus has. And I mean, even Aventus Absolute, that one has done pretty well, has gotten pretty popular. I think everybody's waiting for that. But at the time, nobody was waiting for Aventus Cologne because everybody felt as though regular Aventus has been watered down so much over the years that we don't need this. And so I see the thought process behind that, and I see why this one never really took off. However, I do like this one a lot. And the easiest way to describe this one, and it's something that everybody can relate to, is it smells like a mixture between kind of some Creed Aventus, of course, and then a little bit of Chanel Allure Homme Sport, a little bit of Versace Parfoam, some of that kind of creamy, citrusy, orangey freshness basically is kind of what I get out of this one. Just take those two and combine them, and that's kind of what this one smells like. And so I know everybody has smelled either the Versace or the Chanel or both. And at this point, most people have smelled Aventus, whether it be the real deal or one of the many clones. And so that just kind of gives you an idea. So you could kind of make your own makeshift Aventus cologne, or at least get yourself in the ballpark if you just wanted to do some layering, you know, and you can kind of fine tune it from there and tweak it to how you like. And I've said for years that Aventus is a summer scent for me. I wear Aventus the most in the summertime by far, but the cologne version is a nice step even in the fresher, brighter, creamier, fresher direction, which I really do like. Definitely a great compliment getter. There's something about this one in the heat. It just opens up and just smells delicious. I highly recommend trying this out, or at least kind of trying to achieve this in one way or another with what you have already. We'll go back over to the affordable side here with Dant Nitro Red. So we're looking at around $35 or so, 30 to 35. And that's a 100 ml bottle here. They released a new one for whatever reason, still haven't gotten it yet. Probably gonna be late to that like I was to this. The Intensely version is what they just put out. I'll get it soon, but this is just the original one here. One that got really popular, I think it was last year, around this time last year, maybe earlier on. And I see why it got so popular. Real nice watermelon note, fruity, sweet, fresh, but at the same time, that sweetness, freshness combination is what gives this one the appeal that everybody's after. And I've said it a million times and everybody kind of knows this, but you know, fragrances that have a little bit of a freshness and a little bit of a sweetness combined typically get the most compliments because you're appealing to a very broad audience. And that's what this one does, because it has that watermelon kind of fruity sweetness, but then you've got some other citrus, you've got kind of this watery note, kind of aquatic note going on, and that's kind of adding to the freshness as well. So it's just a really nice mixture. And you've seen it compared to things like Rosa House and some others. And while I can kind of say that they're in a similar category, this does not smell really that close to Rosa House. It doesn't have the plum, it doesn't have the same type of ambroxan punchiness. However, you know, it does have kind of a similar personality, I guess I would say. And it's probably the people who like House would also really like this one. It just kind of has that similar styling going on. So with that being said, I don't really see this one to be overly redundant. You know, it does kind of feel like something that you've smelled before, but that's not always necessarily a bad thing either. If you were paying $60 for this or something, that might be a different story. But at the price point that this one comes in at, it's very reasonable. It's a great performing summer scent that everybody loves. Let's go for Odaparfam Intense up next. Love this stuff, man. I've been saying it for a while. It is pretty much taken the lead for me as far as my favorites in the line. It's kind of this and the new Le Parfum 2025 right now. Obviously this one came first, and I've been really liking this one pretty much ever since it first came out. And I have got no problems with the original EDP or anything else in the line. I mean, at the end of the day, now they have discontinued a couple, Eau Fresh and Live, but those aside, I think they're all great. I don't think you could really go wrong with purchasing any of them. I would say that maybe the Eau de Toilette would be the only one that I wouldn't sink a bunch of money into, because you could get anything else that performs better. But for me, the lack of sweetness that the Eau de Parfum has is what I like about this. It's more aromatic, more fresh, more versatile for me. However, I still wear the Eau de Parfum. I've worn it a couple times this summer. Sometimes it's just a bit too hot out for that sweetness, especially here how it's been recently, this heat wave going on, very hot and very humid. I'm not wanting to wear Eau de Parfum. It's just way too much for that. And even sometimes could be a little bit too much for the Eau de Parfum Intense. I would be going for something completely different anyway. But this one I just find that I enjoy more, I get more use out of it. And because of those two things, of course, I just find myself gravitating towards it more and actually wearing it more, which is important, you know, especially if you have quite a few things to choose from. You want to wear something that you're actually enjoying, and you're not just wearing it because you feel like you should, because you need to use it at some point. That's not the case at all with this one. Usually around $100, great performer, wonderful compliment getter, great quality as well. You got to check this one out. Let's go for something a little bit more pricey again. We're just kind of swapping back and forth here. It's Alisium O Intense by Rosa Parfums. So first things first, I love that frosted glass. I think it looks fantastic. But kind of getting on track with the scent, you know, it's interesting because it's called O Intense, right? But then it has this summery frosted glass bottle. So then it kind of begs the question, you know, what direction does the actual scent go? And to me, it goes in the fresher direction. So kind of more of an eau fresh style here with this is how I look at it. And same thing, like I was saying earlier with Creed Aventus, Rosa Alisium is a summer scent for me. I wear it the most in the summertime. Now, I've worn it year round for years, right? But summer is my preferred time to wear it, okay? So it's already a summer scent for me. But again, this one is brighter. It's going to be fresher. Maybe a little bit less heavy on the vetiver, which is one of the things that could throw you off with Alisium, because Alisium uses a very prominent vetiver note pretty much from start to finish. And it's not really the freshest, soapiest vetiver ever. It kind of has some depth, some texture to it. And so sometimes it could make the scent feel a little bit heavier than you might like for a summer scent. This kind of fixes that. At least that's how I look at it. Again, I've never had really too much of an issue with that over the years. It doesn't really bother me, but everybody has their preferences as far as what they look for in a summer scent. I mean, when you spray this one, it is undoubtedly Alisium, so it's still very close, but you could tell, especially if you were gonna put them side by side, but even if you weren't, that opening, man, it's a lot more bright, a lot more effervescent, a lot more just kind of bubbly and fizzy with Alisium O Intense. It smells amazing. And that vetiver, it just, it's not there nearly as much. And with regular Alisium, you get that vetiver right off the opening. So those are gonna be the main differences here. I don't even know what the price is on this. I would think that it would be, at this point, maybe a kind of right in line with regular Alisium. I would think that it would be a little bit more affordable, but I just don't know if it's there yet. Regardless, niche fragrance, niche price. I'll link it down below for the best price for you, but you know, you're still kind of paying up for it. We'll go for a Chanel up next. Allure Edition Blanc. I mean, very popular for a reason. It's got that lemon accord along with, of course, the tonka and everything else that the original has. Well, I should say everything else that Allure Homme Sport has, and then Sport Eau Extreme as well. This kind of has that, but then with a lemon vanilla mixture. So it's a sweeter gourmand style scent. And like I've said before, this is my summer gourmand. This is something that I reach for when I kind of want a summer scent with a little bit of a kind of a sweet edible nature to it. You know, obviously wintertime you get as much of that as you want with all of the gourmands to choose from out there, but summer scents, that's not really nearly as common. You know, it wouldn't quite work the same, but this one does. It has that edible type of lemon pie sweet smell. I mean, the stuff smells amazing. Obviously, you're paying up for this as well because you can't really get it below retail, so you're kind of stuck with whatever they're charging. Macy's, Chanel.com, whatever. Don't even know what it is at this point, mid $100 range. Whether you get the 150 ml or the 100 ml will influence that as well. Depends on how much you're going to use it. Try to sample it first if you can, smell it in stores or something, but most of you, I would say, would probably really like this. And we'll finish the video off with Prada Luna Rosa Ocean. This is the Odaparfam. This one has grapefruit, woody notes, amber extreme, and then a little bit of vanilla. So the vanilla, I might throw you off a little bit, you know, talking about summer scents. I mean, same thing with the Chanel there. It has some vanilla. This and the Chanel are going to be my two more so nighttime oriented selections. You know, I might not spray these on going out in the daytime. I mean, maybe the Chanel I would if the day is right for it. This one, though, is going to be more of an evening type of scent for me. Something that I would go wear if we're going to be just outdoors in the evening or just going out to a dinner or something like that. It just has that mixture of a little bit of a fresh kind of ambroxan, summery type of smell, but then also has a little bit of a sweetness, but not too much either. And it's always been weird that they call these ocean when they're not oceanic. You know, I don't know really what the idea was behind that. It's just not kind of what you would expect. But hey, it can definitely work. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. Some fantastic compliment pulling summer fragrances that just work right now, but they're gonna work any time of the year too. So don't get hung up on that too much. If you're watching this video in the future, like this winter, I mean, most of these you could still wear and be fine. Like I mentioned, we've got a nice little selection of more affordable, more expensive, and everything in between. So no matter what you're looking for, hopefully you can find something that catches your eye. I will link everything down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.